Talk Radio 790 KABC, the Bryan Show. Last week, on Friday, in fact, we told you that a federal grand jury for the Western District of the U.S. indicted Hunter Moore, the most hated man on the interwebs. They indicted him on loads and loads of counts, with including conspiracy to access a protected computer without authorization to obtain information for private financial gain, and other counts, close quote. Well, what in the heck is that? Well, Hunter Moore trafficked at isanyoneup.com, and don't try that because it's been taken down, but he trafficked in what's called revenge porn. Revenge porn is a genre of pornography where explicit images are uploaded to the web, most typically by scorned ex-lovers of either sex, without the consent of the photo's subject. So his website was one of the most prominent hubs for such material, and the mother of one of the victims, one of the prime moving forces behind this, has been battling for 2 years. Charlotte Laws joins us in Los Angeles. Charlotte, how are you today?
Fine, how are you?
I'm very well. So let's start with this. Tell us your daughter's story. How did she become a victim of this?
She had taken some pictures in her room alone with her cell phone in the mirror in October of 2011. And she had sent them through her cell phone, then through her email to get them to her computer. And one of them was topless. She never intended to show the topless picture to anyone. And 3 months later, she was hacked on January 1st, 2012. And 9 days later, the topless picture appeared on the website isanyoneup.com.
Now, why was she targeted?
She wasn't targeted. The hacker was randomly getting access to people's emails and rifling through the folders, looking for topless or nude pictures, and then submitting them to the website for pay.
Because I think what confuses a lot of people is that Hunter Moore was not indicted for uploading the photos that were submitted to him by ex-lovers and scorned and spurned lovers and all that. The indictment is for him paying a guy to do exactly what was done to your daughter. A guy going out there around the world, hacking into your email with a robo program and pulling out your own personal JPEGs and other photo formats, and then rifling through them and finding the nude ones.
Exactly. I mean, it was, Hunter Moore got some people who, for example, would self-submit, but that kind of thing was not very interesting to him. He wanted people who just would be appalled to be on his site, because the goal was not about pornography. It was about humiliating people, ruining their lives, getting them fired, ruining their relationships, and hopefully driving them to suicide. That was always the goal of the followers of this website.
And were they able, in your daughter's case, did somebody put a name to the picture, or did she stay, how did you discover this?
Oh yeah, her name was put on along with her Twitter account, her city. Sometimes they put your workplace. They might even put your phone number. I mean, they put whatever information they can get, your boss's email address, and then the followers of the site would then harass the victim and send the nude or topless pictures to their employer, to their grandmother, to their children's friends, to their clients if they had a big business. So it was really horrific. So,
and these are just so that people are clear. These are not the Hunter Moore and his hacker. These are the people that come to the website. I mean, we're talking about like a crowdsourcing sadomasochist.
Yes.
Reputation killer.
Yeah, it's a subculture of misogynists. It's people who hate women, who consider women to be sluts. I mean, that's very largely the crowd that this draws. And they enjoy ruining people's lives. They somehow get joy from hurting others. It's really hard to comprehend.
So there's this guy indicted, but this does not eliminate the genre of revenge porn. It just because the internet is whack-a-mole. So now what about the other places, the copycat places that pop up?
Yeah, that's why I've been working really hard to try to put laws in place. We did pass a law in California on October 1st of last year, and we are going to be amending that law shortly to make it stronger. There's already a law in New Jersey. There are about 12 states that have introduced legislation. I've been talking to Barbara Boxer's office about a federal law, which would be ideal. And there are even other countries that are putting laws in place. Israel just passed a law against revenge porn. Part of Australia did. Canada has introduced a law, and Brazil has introduced a law.
Hunter Moore really crossed the line about a year and a half ago when he said he would map the revenge porn victims' photos with their locations. You were going to get an interactive map of, you get the photo and the name of the person and then their last known address. But now, so now let me, and this is not going to happen because he's been indicted and the whole thing, but now let me ask you though, how do you pass a federal law without that being a prior restraint to free speech?
Well, you know, there are already exceptions to free speech. So I feel that nude and topless pictures without someone's consent should be an exception, just like child pornography or fighting words or libel or fraud or discrimination. And also, free speech is about public matters. It's about voicing legitimate concerns in society. But nude and sexually explicit pictures of ordinary people is different. It's a private matter. And the Supreme Court has ruled that the First Amendment should be less stringent on private matters. So I don't see it as an issue at all.
Yeah, I mean, I agree. I mean, you know, in this day and age, a lot of kids are making really stupid decisions with their selfies. And they're going to discover, when they sit down for their first job interview in 8 or 9 years, that stuff, the internet, is forever. And then you send it to your boyfriend of the year, and then when you break up in an ugly fashion, he still has it. But should that elevate to the level of a federal crime?
Yes, it should. I mean, because...
But like I say, the person who sent it is also guilty, or the person who received it, or did if the original recipient sent it on, is that the federal crime?
Well, right now, when you have a state law, the only person who can be held responsible with a revenge porn type of criminal law is the person who submits the photo. However, if you had a federal law, then you could get around Section 230 of the Communications Decency Act, which right now holds the website operator harmless. And so you would be able to hold the website operator responsible as well, which I think is necessary.
Well, and you understand, I have to ask this question. There's a lot of people, a lot of parents out there saying, why don't you just teach your kids not to take naked pictures of themselves?
Because, first of all, anybody is vulnerable to this. I mean, it's not about blaming the victim. And when I did my research, when I researched into the victims on Hunter Moore's website, I found out that 40% were hacks, but I also found out that 12% of the people had never taken a nude or topless picture of themselves. What had happened is their head was put with someone else's nude body, and that was put onto the site with their name, their workplace, their social media. It was their life that was being ruined, and they had never taken a picture in the first place. So you cannot blame the victim.
I definitely think this guy needs to have his face pounded in by many angry victims. But financially, I think they can hit him, get him jail time. But the problem is it keeps popping up elsewhere. So, Charlotte Laws, thanks for joining us today.
Well, thanks for having me.
Thank you. Charlotte Laws is an anti-porn, revenge porn activist. Back in a moment. Right after this, the Bryan Suit Show on Talk Radio 790 KABC.